Hi, I'm Jeff Altman, the Big Game Hunter. I'm called the Big Game Hunter because I've been hunting down leaders and staff for organizations for more than 40 years. And today I want to talk with you about another tip for salary negotiation. And let me start off with an example from outside of job search. If you've ever bought a home or rented an apartment and you've talked to someone about what you're looking for, invariably what happens is people try to stretch the boundaries a little bit to determine flexibility. For example, if you look for a house and you say, I want a 4-bedroom, 3-bath home in such and such type of neighborhood, and it needs to be within this price. You lay out 5 or 6 different parameters, or you do a comparable version with an apartment. Invariably, you're asked follow-up questions. Would you consider this? Would you consider that? Would you consider this? Would you consider that? And even if you respond by saying, well, only if it was the perfect place, well, now the other person believes that you're negotiable. And your job is to try and get as much money for yourself as you can. And they're starting to negotiate immediately with you. You don't have enough to make those judgments, but they're going to treat it like you're going to be willing to negotiate. Here's the problem. When you're doing that, you're basically negotiating against yourself, because they're going to work with the assumption that, well, you're going to think their job is perfect. So if they said, would you consider $10,000 less, or $20,000 less, or $50,000 less, depending upon what your bracket is professionally, for an opportunity where you could such and such. And you said, well, I'd consider it if it was an opportunity that I really believed would be ideal for me, would leverage my experience. You lay out 5 or 6 different criteria. They're ignoring all those criteria. They're going right to the jugular. And they're assuming that you've already caved on the number. Your job isn't to cave on the number. Your job is to find out more all the way through. So I'll just simply say that the best response when you're asked one of those hedge questions, those questions about variables, is to avoid it. Just simply saying, I'm reluctant to agree because my suspicion is that you're going to treat it like I have agreed. Even if I say I've got 5 or 6 different conditions for what I want to look for in order to do that, I really don't know enough to make that judgment now. So let's talk further about the opportunity before I really talk about whether or not I give in on the number. Because understand, they're doing this at the first interview. They're doing this with HR. You haven't found out anything about the job except read a job description. You haven't met the person you'd be working for. You haven't really found out a lot about the opportunity yet. You haven't talked with the people that you'd be working with. No one's evaluated you. You haven't evaluated them, and they're already asking you whether you take less. So duck the answer. Just very simply say, I'm reluctant to agree to anything right now until I know more about the opportunity. So this is Jeff Altman, the Big Game Hunter. Hope you found this video helpful. If you did and you're watching on YouTube, click the like button down below and let people know that you like this video. If you want to write a comment to encourage people to watch it, that's great. You don't have to. If you're watching on my website, or if you want to go over to my website, the address is jeffaltman.com, and over there I've got a lot of good information that's going to help you with your job search. Plus, you can get a complimentary subscription to my easy, no BS job search advice, which I publish weekly with advice for job hunters. So go over to jeffaltman.com and go exploring. It's jeffaltman.com. And just go exploring on the site, because you're going to find a ton of stuff there that's going to help you with your search. Now, 2 final things I want to mention. First of all, if you're trying to hire someone, or someone at your firm is trying to hire someone, send me an email at the address below, and let me know who to contact and whether or not I can mention your name, because I'd love to help your firm fill a position for however long you're there. Finally, if you haven't already done so, send me a connection request on LinkedIn. The address is linkedin.com/IN/the Big Game Hunter. I accept connection requests from people all over the world, except if you're a third-party recruiter or in a country known for scams or spam. So this is Jeff Altman. Hope you have a great day, and I hope you found this helpful. Take care.